Welcome viewers to the Thought Leaders Show. I am your host Aishwarya. Away from the city buzz and urban population, there exists an emerging startup ecosystem in the Himalayan Foothills. To boost the startup ecosystem in the hills, IIT Mandi Catalyst is here with the 5th edition of the Himalayan Startup Trek. To give more insights on the program, joining me today is Mr. Saurabh Chaubey, General Manager at IIT Mandi Catalyst. Welcome to the show, Mr. Chaubey.
Thank you. Thank you, Surya, for inviting us here.
So tell us about the Himalayan Startup Trek and how is it working to build a startup ecosystem in the hills?
So, Surya, we are in the 5th edition of Himalayan Startup Trek. In the last 5 years, in the last 4 editions, we have touched more than 1,000 startups through different events which we had during the Himalayan Startup Trek. And in the previous editions, we had physical event at IIT Mandi here itself at the footsteps of Himalaya. So we had lots of startup visiting the place, lots of mentors, investors, and experts, and we made them to interact with each other, made sure that the ecosystem gets to communicate with each other and understand what the expectations are from each other. We have more than 200 of experts and mentors have participated in the previous editions, and more than 100 investors came to various editions of HST. Now, going forward, this 5th year of Himalayan Startup Trek, considering that we have a COVID scenario, we have made it on a virtual mode, and we have converted the format into a grand challenge. So basically, we are now taking 3 major areas which are of very importance and of is very relevant of the IIT Mandi location also. The first 2 areas are related to the IIT Mandi atmosphere. Basically, the theme area which we have is Himalayan Startup area. And then we have the environment and sustainability as the second theme area. And the third theme area is related to what IIT Mandi has been given a mandate to develop a technology hub in the area of human-computer interaction. So that is the area we are coming up with, these theme areas. So the idea is to invite as many as a startup to take part in these grand challenges and present their idea to panel of experts, investors, and then select few of them as a winner, but the most importantly, get all these startups, those who are deserving, to get into the further future incubation programs.
How does HST 2021 promise to be bigger and better, since now this time you're going online? So how is it going to be different and how is it going to be bigger and better?
Yeah, of course, being as the online event, where it has this limitation in terms of the interaction, which with the joy which we have while having the physical event. But of course, then it gives us a flexibility of reaching out to each and every corner of India. So that is what we are leveraging, reaching out to every startup in each part of India, and they will have the opportunity, even if they are not able to, of course, travel to Mandi or they can't come to this area, but sitting at their place, they can take part in this grand challenge, send their pitch decks, get the opportunity to present it to the experts in the area or the investors, and then get them take it evaluated, and if they have the potential, they can be the winner of grand challenge, as well as they will get the opportunity to part of incubation program and further, which they can be benefited from the seed funds or the prototyping grants, which have a limit of like up to 50 lakh rupees in seed investment, whereas the prototyping grant have a rupees 10 lakh rupees as a prototyping grant.
Now, for the startups, from which all sectors can the startups be a part of this program, and how will these startups benefit from this program?
So we have 3 themes, as I mentioned. So the each theme is actually is focusing on a particular set of problem or focusing on a particular technology set of technologies. So as I mentioned that when we talk about human-computer interaction, then this area have a lot of different technologies work upon that area. Some of the key technology areas which I can name about like augmented reality, virtual reality, or machine learning, wearable devices, robotics, or eye tracking system, 3D visualization, interactive wave platforms, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. So these are the set of technologies which comes under human-computer interaction, whereas the domain area can be a different environment, defense, or agriculture. And of course, we are not limited to domain areas. In fact, if the startups are building something which is basically building a bridge between the human and the computer intelligence and providing the interaction, they are welcome to participate in the human computer interaction theme. Then we have the next theme, which we have as the Build for Himalayas, the Foothill Innovators Challenge. In that area, we are looking for solutions which are designed for Himalayan region. So India has a very big Himalayan region stretching from starting with the Jammu Kashmir and now going towards the complete northeast states. We have a very large portion of India comes under Himalayan region, and which has a very specific set of problems for themselves. Some of the key problems which we have identified, and this is not the startup should not be limited to this problem. They can, of course, if they can come up with identify another problem, they can, of course, come with their solution. Some of the problem which we have identified is like road safety, disaster management, supply chain building for Himalayan region, scaling up local product and services, the rural development in these areas, education, healthcare in Himalayan region, and then having any other idea which serves the Himalayan region. Right. And now, related to somewhat to this theme, we have a little overlap between the second and the third theme, between the Build for Himalayas and our third theme, which is environment and sustainability. Because the environment and sustainability is one of the very important emerging area, and now even all the governments are becoming very concerned about preserving and sustaining the environment. So that's why we came up with environment and sustainability as our third theme, where again we identified some of the key areas, but this is not the startup can be explore other areas also if that solve the purpose of environment and sustainability. So we have the areas like climate change, clean energy, sustainable urbanization, social inclusion, nature conservation, again healthcare, and then the natural resource management, and then of course waste management and recycling. So these are the some of the area which we have identified, but the startups can explore more ideas.
Okay, and in the previous years, any such innovation that has helped solve Himalayan problems or the problems that you are trying to address to, any innovation that caught the eye and maybe this year's participants can take inspiration from?
Yeah, in fact, the Himalayan Startup Trek is one of the very flagship event with us, and it played a big role in connecting us to very high potential startups. We have one of our the earliest startup, the Solar Lab, came through the Himalayan, was part of the Himalayan Startup Trek and made a huge impact in the way the renewable energy is taking place in India. Similarly, we have HFIL and many more such startups which came out of interaction with the Himalayan Startup Trek.
Okay, and how has the response been for the previous years, and what are you expecting this year?
Yeah, we are very fortunate to have received very high response for all the previous editions. And in fact, we received responses from across India, right from Jammu Kashmir to till the Kanyakumari, and again from the Gujarat to northeastern states. This response were very high, and that's why we had very high, very big responsibility to make it much more bigger this time, and to make sure that the startups get the maximum benefit out of this event. We are looking forward that we will have the participation of as not only with the startups, but this time we want students, any innovator to come up with their ideas in this three theme areas, where they will get the opportunity during the 11th and 12th December, when we will have our dignitaries present here. We want them to provide platform to present their solution to such dignitaries, along with the, of course, the best prize and the opportunity to go for the funding schemes.
Okay, so finally coming to My Startup TV, we are a channel for startups and budding entrepreneurs. What are your views on our channel?
I think startup TV is playing a big role in creating an ecosystem because it's a sort of the new generation's media, and that in that way, bringing out the stories of startup ecosystem stakeholders to spreading out the word to the young India, and I think that is the way we create a culture among our youth to engage in startup discussions, make them engage and discover opportunities for themselves. So I think it's my strategy is doing a very good work. I watched videos on the channel, and they are amazing, bringing out uh, different dimensions of startup ecosystems.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Chaube, for joining us today and sharing your insights on Himalayan Startup Trek.